Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our life, beginnings and always. Let's see, we're going to load here. All right, so we are back. Last time we did the moment called Wave, where we got to see Cove do some surfing. We got to sit there and watch him do some surfing, which was fun. Watching him show off his techniques and all that. And then before that, our ma told us that she used to surf, and how her other mom also said that she used to love watching her surf as well and show off. So also, some good news here. I mean, look at this. I've got the DLCs, so I can only thank Steam for that. Because I got this newer version of the game through Steam, and I bought the DLCs through Steam. So it was I was able to automatically load the DLCs to the game, so I have the DLCs now, so that's great. So I'm going to be able to do those. So I'll probably have to go back and later on, after doing step 3, do the DLCs for step 1, because I didn't have those the last time. The only ones we won't get for a while are the step 3, and step 4 hasn't come out completely yet either. Been told that it might come out this spring. I don't know. It's still to be announced. We don't know when it's coming out. Also, the DLCs for step 3 should be coming out at that same time. Hopefully, I don't know. So it's just wait and see what happens. We just gotta wait and find out what's gonna happen, and see when we get there. In the meantime, we're gonna do the moment of growing. Everyone afternoon found yourself in the living room with your family. And I'm gonna grab this keyboard so I can kind of kick back a little bit while I do this. Try to get comfortable. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The air conditioner was cranked up to as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still pretty lazy. You, your moms, and your sister were lounging around while the TV blurred in the backdrop by all of you, ignored by all of you. Oh, also I forgot to mention on the last video that I did for the beginning for the last moment, I had mentioned that by mistake I mentioned that we had passed step 2, which was wrong because we're on step 2 now. So that was a mistake, and I didn't want to go back and fix it, so I just left it as it is. Anyway, before the last moment, we had finished step 1 and went into step 2. So we went into the beginning of step 2 before doing wave, of course. So our last moment was wave, and now we're on step. We're still on step 2. We're doing is that growing up? Is that what they're called? Anyway, alright, we'll continue. Your moms and your sister were lounging around while the TV blurred in the backdrop ignored by all you. Oh, I already there. Okay. You especially were. Okay. I'm gonna go with the first one. Lion spread eagle on the carpet. You stared up at the ceiling, your eyes unfocused and mind cleared of all thoughts. Gotta get some water here. There we go. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand.
Ugh.
I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house. My legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth fell briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it hurts, says Elizabeth.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart, says Mom. Mom got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder. I hate those words, those big words. Sympathy. In other words, she gave her sympathy, okay? Whatever. Just get over it. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall, says Mom. Elizabeth scuffled. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this, says Elizabeth. Mom walked over to, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast, says Mom. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe even with a nice husband and some kids, if she feels like it. She sniffled loudly and wiped her eye, but you could tell it was just a bit. You tilted your head even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys. It was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Ma just agreed with you because she shook her head.
Now,
Let's not exaggerate. She's still practically a child, says Mom. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it, says Mom. Definitely. We're always willing to lend an ear, says Mom. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust.
no!
No way. I'm not talking to my moms about that, says Elizabeth. Mom's jaw dropped, and she gasped in exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma grinned. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two, says Mom. I don't, but I can listen anyway, says Mom. Yep, it's our two lesbian moms. Mom snorted and her own joke while Mom burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement.
Thanks.
Oops. Because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks, says Elizabeth. She stood up. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your moms stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops. Looks like we scared her off with all that romance talk, says Mom.
Well?
Oh well. We'll get her next time, says Mom. You watch them titter with some surprise. Obviously your moms liked women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you heard her say something like that. Ma, I always thought you liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you happily to bring you into things now that you smoke it up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Aw. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheeks lightly. We have great moms here. Mom reached up and to cut a hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic!
Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you. So sweet.
Aww.
Aw, Pamela, says Mom. Mom beamed, then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. You thought the moment was very sweet. Yeah, I think so. You smiled to yourself at the sight. No matter how often your moms expressed their feelings for each other, it was always nice to witness it. Ma looked up back to you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You knew I'm here. I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer just isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone. Isn't that right, Mrs. Ma? Ooh, they know that me and Cove are getting close to each other. Ooh. Mom shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Meddler, says Mom. I'm gonna go with, yeah, that's true. Might as well admit it. Ma giggled and smiled, no doubt pleased that you admitted it so readily. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want, says Mom.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now either. Life's nice like that. It can change you and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we don't push the topic, at least most of the time, says Mom. She gave Ma the weakest scratching scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful!
That's all we asked for, says Mom. Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First, Elizabeth, now you, Chippy. Do you have to grow up? Says Mom. It happens. Trust me. Kids grow up. It's a fact of life. Yes, children tend to do that from time to time, Mrs. Mom. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation. Rearing kids, you took that as your cue to leave, so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside, and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface and to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, alright. It was weird thinking about how you were now in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, let's see, was getting some muscle definition nowadays. You shifted to the side, your head still facing forward, and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. At birth you were assigned female and blank. At birth you were assigned male and blank. You were born intersex. No. I'm a male and I'm gay, okay? Your chest was only flat. And I'm fine with that. And that's just the way it was for you. Took a step backwards, finished your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side, all things considered. You didn't look too bad, and I'm not going with that. A slight smile tugged at your mouth. Sure, maybe you wouldn't be a model or anything, but you weren't half bad. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing into the mattress, your brow scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possibly, ideas about what to do were few and far between. You were sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Chippy, says Mom. There's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is it all right? Is that all right? Says Mom. You perked up at the words, sitting up in your bed, and yelled back at her immediately. Yeah. You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves, says Mom. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive, said Mom. Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem, says Mom. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Chippy to behave badly, I think we can both agree that he'd do the right thing in the end. But Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Chippy to be a part of the ride. Can we really be certain of what call he'd make then? Oh, come on. Cove is not that bad. I don't think he'd make us do anything reckless, really bad. I mean, he seems pretty innocent. I mean, he's gone through a tough time in his youth, and when he was younger, he did when he was like 8 years old, because of his divorce with his dad and mom.
Yes.
His mom. Yes, I think so. Chippy helps Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself even in more trouble without him. Okay.
Yes.
Alright, got it. That's true, we have helped Cove out a lot since he got here.
Thanks.
You have a point, says Mom. Ma laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well.
Oh!
Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Chippy. I just wanted to let you know what was happening, says Mom. You pretended you didn't overhear. I'm gonna call Mom out on her comment. Well, if I hadn't come now, then I wouldn't have heard everything you said.
Pam!
Oh, you got caught, Pam, says Mom. Mom.
What?
What? You were saying things too? You were saying things too, says Mom. I didn't say anything. I wouldn't have told to Chippy directly, says Mom. Besides, I think Ma was kind of defending Cove there. If anything, our mom, the one on the right, she's the one that has, she has some doubts about Cove, obviously, and that's what she's impressing to our other mom, the one on the left. Anyway, okay. Well, you're unbelievable, says Mom. You shook your head at your parents, even as you fought a blush when you remembered just what they'd been discussing. Alright, you got me. I'm sorry for being gossipy and saying that about your friend. I can be bad too, says Mom.
Let's go.
I mean, really, you just gotta have faith that we're gonna pick we're gonna pick to do the right thing, and we're not gonna let somebody how do you say influence us.
Let's go.
Your parents have to realize that a lot of times we're going to pick the right choices of what we need to do in life. Sometimes, yeah, maybe we'll fall and make mistakes, and that's when our parents need to be there for us and say it's okay and help us fix the situation, you know? So, yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, we'll get out of your way now, says Mom. Mom sighed in mock defeat and made her way down the hall. Ma followed after her with a hushed giggle. Now you were alone in the living room, Tess was waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. Excuse me. As expected, there was a knock at the door. A few minutes later, when you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once. You stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. I'm gonna give him a hug. Let's give him a hug. He sniffled. He stiffened in your arms, then relaxed seconds after. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all these years. Hey. His voice cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and ripped at his face a bit. You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. You must be glad to be in an air-conditioned place, even if only had to walk across the street to get there. I mean, is something going on? Why do you want to come over? I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. Mrs. Cove. You gestured wriggly to the humid air hanging around.
So...
I thought I could at least do nothing with you. That's nice. You thought that was really sweet. I'm gonna go with that. His words were nice and expressed real fondness for you in a strange sort of way, which was usually the case with Cove. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get like that sometimes too. My parents don't like it when I do that, though. Mine don't either. They asked if I ate here when I go back home. As you headed into the kitchen, you crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I didn't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets.
Hey.
Could you take the grain one for me, Mrs. Cove? Sure. Reach for the mixed grains. Then you made your decision. For my sandwich. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go with sourdough. You pull out the sourdough too, setting both items onto the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. You wanted to make a sweeter style of sandwich. You wanted something truly savory. I'm gonna go with the second one. Something savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients, let's see, ham, turkey, tomato, onion, peppers, pickles, cheddar cheese. Then moved on to condiments. For the finishing touch, you intended to top your sandwich with mustard mayo. And that was everything. You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening, closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focus intently on assembling your own for the most part. Then you were close to being done, though you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delectably, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he was making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. That sounded great. You didn't think much of that. Seemed weird. Sounded great. Excuse me. Maybe you have one yourself a different time. Curiously satisfied, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation and turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. He gave it an incredulous look, but didn't question you about it. Good. Done? Asked Cove. Yeah.
Cool.
He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, scratching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, then hummed happily. The sandwich is really good. At least that's something, says Cove. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. You nodded. You were enjoying yours too. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? Asked Cove. It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn. Then, despite his lack of enthusiasm, like what? He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Asked Cove. I'm gonna go with the second one. Yeah, neither of you had much energy for anything more taxing. You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left.
That's
Can I pick the phrase? Asked Cove. Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the Hangman frame. Then he stopped, pursing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of the marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing, says Cove. You peered over his secret phase, consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters and the last 4. You thought hard about what your first guess would be. Enter a letter of the alphabet. U. You got one. Says Cove. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. Says Cove. The TV was on earlier, but no one really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs, with no one there. Cole smiled crookedly at that.
Oh.
Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squirted off in the middle, into the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cole nodded sleepily. His eyes crossed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well, you rested your chin on your open palm, groggily, thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long blonde hair, I think. She was the one solving crimes, like as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. You lapsed into silence. The both of you thoughtful. Then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what it was, what that is, says Cove. Me neither. I just saw it. Enter another letter. A. Good guess, says Cove. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a glance and grimace. I feel so sticky. I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now, says Cove. I'm gonna pick the third one. Looks like we're both stuck here forever, then I'm sticky too.
You're right.
Even when we're gray and old, we'll still be here, right here, says Cove. Yeah, I'm pretty much joking about it. We're not gonna be stuck here forever, obviously. Yeah, we have to accept our fate. You giggled under your breath at such a bizarre scenario. Cove cracked a smile as well. Oh, yeah. Okay. Enter another letter. C. Yep, that's right. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why did some people come up with it? Why did they play it? Probably because they didn't have like board games back then, and they needed an idea of something fun to do. Probably. That's my guess. I'm gonna pick the second one. I've always wondered about that. The two of you felt silent as you tried to puzzle out a logical answer. Eventually, you decided to return to the game. Just return to the game. Pick another letter. Let's see. T. That's another one. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too. But now you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up, says Cove. Me neither. You look over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it, says Cove. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue. Defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Yeah, in case you're wondering, yes, I have played this before. That's why I'm not giving out anything, so I don't want to give anything away. For those of you who have not seen this visual novel before. But yeah, I've played this before. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to go through it first before I'd actually do a read-through on it here on YouTube. Because I wanted to know what to expect in case there was like lewd scenes and stuff like that. But there are no lewd scenes in here at all. In fact, if you want any lewd scenes at all, you have to go to the creator's Patreon account, and you have to put in a $10 contribution to get the lewd scenes, like drawing. There's like drawings of lewd scenes. So yeah, that's the only way to get it, really, because there are no lewd scenes in here. Now, and I doubt there probably will be as we go further into this, because this is more like, I think this is just more like romance than anything. There's really nothing lewd like, it's not Camp Buddy, that's for sure. So much lewd in Camp Buddy. Anyway, continue. Oh, I gotta pick another letter? Okay. E. Whoa. Okay. E. What's going on here? Why is it not entering? There we go. I guess it got stuck there. There we go. You're really close, says Cove. Yeah, I know. Enter another R. Yeah, says Cove. Enter another letter. Y. Enter. Okay, by now I'm pretty sure we all know what this is saying, right? You're definitely gonna get it, you think? Enter another letter. Oh. There you go. You are cute. You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove had spent so long settling on. He stared at it. It's like, oh, he means I'm cute. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach at seeing it. Clear as day on the paper. You took in the words for a moment longer. Then you looked up at Cove. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze. A smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble.
I mean...
It was all I could think of at the time. Yeah, I'm sure it was. But it was sweet of you to think that anyway. I wrapped my arms around him. It was instinct. Yeah. You leaned over and wrapped your arms around him in a hug. No, you're cute. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal. All of a sudden, you looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. Did you mean it? Do you really think I'm cute? Cove didn't crack a smile or tell you he was joking. He just firmly kept his gaze. Yeah, says Cove. Finally, he broke the eye contact. at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people, guys, girls, or whatever.
I don't know.
I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed. Not in a big way. Not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more. But at least with you, waited but trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished that he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody, or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cole seemed to appreciate that thought. If the smile that appeared on his face, on his lips, was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. You considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? Let's see. There was only one person you had these kinds of feelings for. Let's see. Last one. There was only one person you had romantic feelings for. But specifically when it came to how you felt towards boys. I gotta pick something else again. Okay. I'm gonna go with the first one. You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with a guy someday. And how you felt towards girls. You weren't... Well, being that I'm gay, I'm not really interested in girls, so... Yeah. You weren't interested in girls. For people aren't exclusively male or female. This would be non-binary or trans, I think. You weren't interested in someone non-binary. You turned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you felt to Cove. He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. Then he scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Oh, I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all this when we started out just playing hangman. But it was good, I think, says Cove. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you gotten to make any progress on your artwork recently? Asked Cove. Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that. It felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. We're going to talk about yawning, please. Did I skip something? You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is here now. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. The two of you took your time. Heading downstairs, you stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You stepped outside one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove crossed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here, says Cove. I'm gonna go with a third one. Your opinion sure has changed since you were first on this hill. Cove chuckled, not even attempting to deny your words. Beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you, Chippy. You're really important to me, you know, says Cove. You're special to me, Cove. Your voice came out equally delicate from the way his features brightened. Though you knew he heard you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Ah, we're holding hands now. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, and Cove remained side by side as long as you possibly could. And that was the end of it. That's the end of growing. That's the only way I'm going to do today because I'm not feeling up to do it anymore today. Take a rest. So we'll do family tomorrow if I have time to do it. Hopefully, we'll see. Anyway, I want to thank you again for watching my YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that like button and click the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also want to remind you again, if you can go to my my Patreon account. I'm gonna have that in the down below. I'll have that listed down below where you can go to find my Patreon. If you can go to my Patreon and contribute to my Patreon, I really appreciate it because I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be donating that money to charity. I won't see a dime of it, really. It's just going to go directly to charity, really. I don't see any of it. Also, I'm running a special right now. If you contribute, if you become a $25 contributor, I will give you a sticker or a button that has a picture of me in fursuit, and it'll say, you know, thank you for contributing and stuff like that on there. Right now, I don't have anything made up yet, but I'm looking into having somebody make that for me, so that I have that for the contributors who do donate, who do contribute $25. And then I'll get that out to whoever does that. Okay. So again, thank you, and I will see you later.